We are back, guys, and we're talking front squats today. So we've covered the low bar back squat, high bar squat. We're going to talk front squats today. Please go back and watch those other videos. There's a lot of detail that we cover in those that have some correlation in the front squat. But there's many dynamics that are different in this that makes this a totally different type of exercise, and we're going to get into them. So first things first, I'm sitting in my rack. First thing I want to do is get that rack height set, and it's really not any different than the low bar. In the low bar position, I basically got this guy sitting where the spine of the scapula is behind me. I want to be, when I unrack this guy, that I've just got to bend my knees a couple of inches to clear it and to step back out of the rack. Before I get into that though, I've got to look at hand position. Now hand position is going to be different for every single person, and it's really going to be set on where are you most comfortable in the press. That's probably your best place to start setting up this front rack position. So comfort is going to be different for everybody. There's only so much flexibility you can get before you run into joint capsule issues or just genetic differences. The front rack that I'm going to show is absolutely not for everybody. Not everybody can do this. It takes a massive amount of flexibility in the carpal tunnel to be able to do a front rack. I'm going to show you a variation that isn't as aggressive and doesn't cause this hyper stretch issue that people run into with the front rack. But first, let's explore this first possibility. So the front rack, we're going to set this up. For me, I know a comfortable pressing position is just roughly right outside of my shoulder. So I'm going to walk through, I'm going to put my hands right on the bar, and I'm going to try to control it. I see a lot of people getting into the front rack with like fingertips. We really want the hand to be on the bar as much as possible. This will also increase the flexibility at the wrist and the carpal tunnel. As I come through, I'm going to put my deltoids right up underneath that bar. Now this bar is sitting right on top of my sternum, really close to my throat. If you start to black out right here, it's too close. But I want the bar to be sitting on the top of the deltoid, right at the insertion of the front head. I don't want it on the front of the deltoid. If it's starting to sit forward, that means the bar itself is starting to be forward. And when I break, when I start to go down in the squat, if that bar is an inch forward of my center of mass, the bar is going to end up in the floor. I want this guy as close to my spine as I can possibly get it. So I'm going to get my hand position, I'm going to step through, put it right on top of the deltoid, and just practice feeling this. Just practice getting into this stretch. The elbows are slightly out and slightly pointed down. I'm going to take a big inhale and brace. Stand up, step back out of the rack one time. Now, right here we're going to talk a little bit about how far I want my feet to be spaced to go into the squat. For every squat, when the bar is low in a low bar back squat, I want to assume a wider stance. This is just going to be normal. If I've got the bar low and I have a narrow stance, it's only going to be natural to break at the knee first. If that happens and the bar is down there, I'm turning this into a much different movement than what a low bar back squat should be. The same is true in a front squat. If I am trying to do a front squat with the bar in front of me and I have a wide stance, I'm basically going to turn this into a plie. I'm not going to get any range of motion out of it whatsoever. Foot stance is going to be up to you, just like the width of my hands. It's based on comfort. So when I unrack this guy, I know for me where my foot and feet need to be to get into a proper front squat break. And that means I'm going to go at my knee first. The first thing it's going to go is that knee. Now in the low bar, it's our hip. If I break at the hip first in a high bar squat or a front squat, this bar is going to end up in the floor. What I want is the bar path to stay vertical. And that means I've got to get the knee to break first. I'm going to brace, screw my feet into the floor, push my knee forward, and at some point I'm going to break into the hip. Pop up out of the hole. Knees, hip, straight up. Vertical bar path. Knees, hip, up. And at some point, you'll just be able to put those components together. You won't think about it so much. It won't be so much of a knees, hip sequence, but it's really important in the beginning that we get our firing sequence correct. So practice. Knees are going forward, hip is coming back. Knees are going forward, hip is coming back. And that should put you in proper alignment. At some point, you're just going to break the knee and hip at the same time. Now, let's talk a little bit more about where the weight should be on the foot. As you set this up, I'm going to get my feet where they need to be. The weight is going to be a little forward of the center of the foot. We don't want the weight back on the heels because once again, the bar path is going to be behind me. So as I break at the knee, you're going to feel that load more in the toes than you were before. And that's only natural. It's the only way that I'm going to be able to keep that bar path true. There's a lot of quadricep being activated in this front squat. We have to have a high degree of dorsiflexion, a lot of mobility at the knee moving towards the toe. Once again, this is different for everybody, guys. The front squat takes a different kind of flexibility, not more, but a different kind of flexibility than the low bar squat. If you're weightlifting, you're going to want to explore the front squat. If you're not and you're looking for general fitness, maybe the low bar squat is a better way to go for you. But play around with these, take your time with them, and set the sequence up and go through it specifically. Go through it every single time. Rack height, bar position, hand position, bracing, knees fire, hips follow. The weight is a little bit forward on the center of my foot. The bar path stays true and vertical through the whole thing. So you've tried the front rack. No matter how hard you've tried, no matter how many stretches you've done, you've just realized this isn't for you. You're in chronic pain. I'm telling you guys, it's not for everybody. But there's a variation that we can use that you get all the benefit of the front squat and none of the harmful side effects. So if we just simply walk up to the bar, address the center of it the same way we did before. I'm going to put the center of the bar right into my chest, and then I'm going to reach forward underneath the bar. I want the deltoid to be directly underneath the bar again, the same placement, but all I'm going to do is take one hand, cross over, right to left, left to right, put my feet in position, brace, lift, keep the elbows parallel to the floor as I step out. Get my feet placement, screw, the same break is happening. Knees, hips, sit, straighten out. Bar path stays true, vertical, beautiful bar path. I get all the benefit of that front squat and none of the harmful side effects related to this huge carpal tunnel stretch. Try it out.